What's up, everybody, and welcome to Growing Up Gaming, your weekly podcast where we meet a new person of the internet to discuss their childhood with gaming and how it inspired their lives today. My name is Mitch Power. Again, thank you guys each and every week for returning. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the content each week. If you guys do enjoy it, please feel free to leave me a rating on iTunes or Google Play, and make sure you share it with your friends so that way everybody can enjoy. This week we have our guest. His name is Joe Moran. I met this man on the Kind of Funny Facebook group, so he shares his stories with us this week and how he almost went home with a different family because of Mario Karts at the mall. So feel free to listen to that. If you guys want to be on the show, please send me a tweet at GUG Podcast on Twitter, or you can visit the website at gugpodcast.com. Without further ado, let's get things started with Joe Moran. How old were you when you started gaming? Like, do you remember the age of when you were introduced to it?
I don't remember much, but I remember this. I can't tell you the age. Maybe 3, maybe 4. But what I do remember is watching my brother play video games. So the NES. See, I'm one of the rare exceptions as kids of my generation, me being 26, question mark.
Questionable age. Let's go with 26.
After 21, I just stopped caring or counting.
Yeah, who cares, right?
Yeah, no, like, people, like, when they get older, they're just like, mortality. Me, I'm just like, I'm just rolling with it.
Yeah, it's life. Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? It's a number. So, I remember watching my brother play games like Back to the Future, playing games like The Rocketeer, which was awesome. Playing all those old classic games. Duck Hunt, all the Mario games. We played them all on that NES. Or my brother did. And watching my cousin as well play. He would come over almost every weekend. And yeah, like, I would watch them play video games. I can never play them. Maybe I get through a level, but then they just kick me off, or I died, and they'd be like, okay, game over, buddy. And they take it. They reign in control again. Right. So, the earliest that I remember playing, and like me being hooked, that's the SNES. That's Super Mario World. That is World 1, Stage 1.
Good stuff.
The magical level.
Yeah, that'll hook most people. You know what I mean? Like, that'll get a lot of people's attention right there, because that game is you still play it, and it's still awesome.
It's still great. It's still
good. It's so good. And then I feel bad because I don't know if newer games are going to have that same kind of like hold and everything to them, but just like, yeah, that game is so good and so special. And I'm glad that was, and it's also cool because if you bought an SNES, it came with it. Like, yeah, it was, like one of the best packing games ever, because it's one of the best games ever still. Like, the game is awesome.
Yeah. And you make a great point because, like, man, playing Skyrim now, can't really do it. You're like, oh, this is actually not as good as I once thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, like, games get like that. I mean, the other thing, too, is, in my opinion, like, art styles, like, the old, like, the hand-drawn, like, old-school RPGs, the, just the hand-drawn nature of stuff compared to PS1, like, jaggy 3D, like, stuff. At the time, of course, we were losing our shit, but, it's just
I remember
later
that.
in life, that's where you get, like, man, you go back and play some of those games, and it's not saying, like, the gameplay's bad, because obviously gameplay and story are overall better than graphics will be, but you still visually, you're like, damn, like, that's jarring, like, to see that big difference.
You're walking in and your nostalgia's telling you one thing, while reality's telling you the truth.
Exactly. You're playing it in front of you, you can't deny it.
Exactly.
Man, this isn't as good.
Yeah, but you know what? Speaking of 3D graphics, if I were to jump, I got lost in a mall because I was glued to the Mario Kart promo that they had on the TV at front of EB Games in Palisades Mall, and I was just standing there watching it, glued to it. And then, like, this is the funniest thing in the world. Guys, I'm Spanish. I'm just a little tan skin. I walk where my table was, and I confused my family. This is how dumb of a kid I was. For this black family. And I walked up to him, and I was just like, wait, "You're not my mom." This lady just turns to me. She goes, "What?" And I just started having a panic attack because I didn't know where my family was.
Oh my God.
Because I was too busy watching Mario on a cart.
Was it, so basically,
Greatest thing.
you just like, they were walking, you guys were walking, it was there, you stopped and just stared at it, and they straight just didn't notice and kept walking?
Exactly. And then like when I walked back to where I thought they would be, they weren't there.
Did you have to have mall security like show up and like freak out? Were they
Luckily.
freaked out?
Luckily, you know how you have kids watching your 2-year-old? My brother and my cousin were supposed to watch me.
Oh, okay. I bet
And
they
they
had a
done
good
goofed.
earful from your mom after that.
Oh, dude, did they? It was bad.
I can
It was
imagine.
bad. But yeah, no, I remember that. That was one of my most treasured, fondest panic attacks.
There you go. I had a similar one, but it wasn't video game related. I went to this place called Farm and Fleet, which is like this, like they sold. It's in Illinois. It's like a local place there. It's like a Home Depot, so they sell tools and stuff, and then they sell like tires and they sell like farm equipment and all this stuff. Anyways, like I was probably 6 or 7, and the aisles are so tall. I was in an aisle just with my grandma hanging out, and then I turn around and she's straight gone. And I just, of course, my stupid brain, I just run up and down like 2 aisles back and forth and just start panicking. I'm freaking out, crying.
Because that's how large the world is to you
The
at
world,
that point.
yeah, exactly. And this place is humongous, and I just start losing it. I just start like freaking out, crying. And then like, of course, my grandma, she's the best, but she's so hillbilly. Like, I just walked out, I started crying, and a person found me like, "Oh my God, what's going on?" And then they brought me to like the customer service desk there, and then she found me, and she's just like, she's like, "Damn it, where'd you wander off to?" Like she wasn't even like worried about me. She was just so like, "What the hell, kid? What are you doing?"
My one friend's mother, she got left at a supermarket. Her mom, this is how bad this was. Her mom drove home, made dinner, remembered that she forgot her daughter at the supermarket.
Oh my God, that's next level. Like, you have to put your kid in the car. Like,
Yeah.
what do you? Okay,
You know,
then.
it was the 70s. It was a wild time.
Exactly. Who knows, right? Ours was just, at least yours was video game based. Mine was just probably
Exactly.
staring at like some boots in an aisle with shoes. Like, I didn't have any excuse. I was just some dumb kid looking at something, and then I turn around and grandma's gone. I'm freaking out.
Exactly. I was such a dumb kid. I'm like, I'm glad I'm not like on a milk carton looking
There you
back
go.
on it, because I was just a dumb kid.
Yeah.
But no, I was always gravitated towards games as a kid. Always loved them.
Yeah. So then you got an SNES. So then do you remember, like, how much older were your brothers? Like, did you guys end up playing a lot of games together or anything?
Yes, kind of. So my brother is 6 years older than me. But we're best friends. We're like
Right.
this. He annoys the shit out of me, but I love him.
Right.
So back in the day, I was always number 2, player 2. Whether it was the NES, whether it was the SNES, the N64, that was where we were more playing together wise.
Right.
Because I was really the backseat driver. I remember playing like Shadows of the Empire, which, Kathleen Kennedy, if you're listening, I would like a movie of that.
Just throw that out there.
Just throwing it out
Hopefully
there.
she's a listener.
Yeah. She's like Dash Rendar, cast Joseph. So I remember that day. I remember when we got the N64, my dad was pissed. It was my mom just having a fit, and she's just like, just get him it. Just get him the damn console. And my dad's like, you get that? And that's it. And my mom's like, you need to buy him a game too, Armando. So we got Shadows of the Empire. We plug it into our old ass TV. And I'm talking, this is a Mitsubishi TV. All right. Mitsubishi makes cars.
Yes,
You know?
it's funny because I remember they make TVs, but the only TVs I remember them making are big ass TVs. Like,
Yes.
I only remember Mitsubishi TVs being like, again, this is probably exaggerated, but like 80 inches and above. Like, I don't remember ever seeing
Oh,
like,
no, not
I don't
ours.
ever remember seeing like tiny Mitsubishi TVs.
Ours was a hand-me-down from, I believe, like the 80s or
Okay.
late 70s. It was a probably 30-inch tops wooden TV with the panel on the side with the dials and all that jazz that we would eventually break.
Right. Of course, any TV with a dial you broke. Like, it doesn't... The manufacturing on those dials was garbage, but go ahead.
Oh, yeah. And we needed an RCA cable, I believe. And that thing Nintendo charged $30 for.
Of course they did.
And back in the 90s, $30?
That was
Jeez, Nintendo. What is this, a Pro Controller?
Yeah.
So, my dad was livid. Like, I remember driving there and he's yelling at us. He's like, this is the last thing I'm ever buying you guys. This is stupid. You should be reading books. And it's still a fond memory to me because I didn't care what he was saying. I just knew as soon as I got home, and first off, I'm going to Toys R Us, mecca of kids.
Oh, yeah. Which is like kids' best thing in the world, parents' worst nightmare in the world. Like, yes, absolutely.
And, after I get home, we're going to play N64. So I didn't care. So it's funny because, like, I drive on that highway constantly. And I always, when I hit this one certain part, I just immediately get hit with that nostalgia every single time.
That's awesome.
It's such a good ride because I'm like, yeah, this is where I really got the N64. So I would play that. I'd play Mario Kart all the time with my brother. We loved Mario Kart. And
obviously you did. You almost got lost in them all.
I mean, yeah. I love that. And that will always be forever my favorite out of nostalgia, Mario Kart. Cause that was when it was like, this is 3D. I know it's not the best and the frame rate is like 10, but there's no BS to it, you know? There's no little gimmick to it.
Right.
And that's what I really like. It's just, I'm going to pick Bowser. He's my favorite and he's going to hit a little harder. That's really it. And so we'd play that. Super Smash Brothers was a big one. That was actually probably, with GoldenEye, one of our most played games in the house. That's where, like, that game I would fake sick a lot so that I could play that game.
Oh my God.
And when my mom caught on, she's like, no more video games when you're sick. And I'm like,
like, oh man.
She caught on.
I was gonna say, you're the first person to fake sick to play video games, but that's a big ass lie because everyone did that. Everyone did that. The sad thing is that my kids, they have a dad who used to do that. So they can't get away with that shit. My son will just be like, Dad, I don't feel good. I'm like, that's cool, man. You can, play with your Legos and stuff. You're just not playing your Xbox at all. And he's just like, like you could hear him deflate, just like, and then he's really sick when he goes, okay, or he's just like, I'll do it. Let's go to school. I might come home early. I'm like, you're not going to come home early. You're just trying to lie to me so you can play games. He especially since he's gotten Xbox Live, like his own. Once he's realized how awesome Titanfall 2 is online or how good Overwatch is online, he is now like, he's just like, Dad, this is so good. This is so, I'm like, yeah, no, that's why I didn't give it to you till you were older, because you'd be some mushhead if you didn't have it until you were a little older and a little more mature. So, yeah, like, the whole playing sick thing. Yeah, and the 64 too was good because that was really the era when local same screen multiplayer was like much bigger just because the 4 ports on the system right off the bat, like that encouraged right off the bat, like play this with other people. And, it sucks because again, nostalgia, like people have such nostalgia for those games. However, when I was growing up, I was more into the PlayStation, like Sega Genesis, then PlayStation. Like I had a 64 later on, but it sucks because that fondness of memories and everything for like those types of games. Like I played Smash. My first Smash Brothers was Melee. It wasn't.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't even play the original Smash. Then I go back and try to play it, and it's jarring. You're like, dude, I can't play this because I played Melee. Like Melee, in my opinion, is better. But yeah.
No, it is. Like, but again, like Smash, like in all honesty, like if I had to pick my favorite Smash, it's a 3DS smash. I know it's a little weird for me to say. For some reason, I loved it so much. But like, God, N64 is just like, had the best levels, you know?
Yeah.
And, like Hyrule Castle. That
is awesome. Is awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, there's
the one game
so good.
You can't go back to is GoldenEye. And that's what really sucks.
Yeah, and that's the similar thing. And I mean, again, like, this is stupid me because I didn't play it much, but like, same thing with Perfect Dark, when apparently Perfect Dark was very similar to GoldenEye, because obviously it was same crew, same, it was Rare doing it. So yeah, I bought Perfect Dark for 360 when they remastered it, like the HD version of it.
Yes.
Granted, I never played Perfect Dark. Like, I just straight skipped it. It just wasn't a game I played. So then, I play Perfect Dark Remake, and it was just like, I played it, and I was just like, I don't like this. Like, I'm not having fun. But again, that was my first time playing it after playing every other awesome shooter before it, that came out. All the Halo games, like the Call of Duties were big then, like they put that remaster out, and everybody that had that nostalgia for it was so jazzed to play it. And I was just like, well, everybody says this is supposed to be good, I'll download it. And then I played it, and I'm just like, dude, I am not really having fun with this. Like, it's not that fun to me.
The Rare replay was a lot of that for me.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh no, this nostalgia is what it is. Nostalgia is the worst thing in the world.
It's good, but depending on what you're nostalgia for, that's the only thing. Like, it can be great, and it can give you really great memories, and like, you hear a certain thing or see a certain image, and like, your mind just blows up with all these memories, and it's awesome. But it also just depends on what it is. Like, gaming nostalgia can be great, but again, like, also when you're a kid, sometimes you're stupid and you think things are good when they're not, and then you come back and you're like, man, this really wasn't that good. But then sometimes stuff still holds up, like, I mean, the only thing I think that's cool is, like, to me, gaming nostalgia from the NES, SNES era is probably where things really people have those memories that still, for most part, hold up. Obviously, people are still going to play your random garbage side-scrolling beat 'em up, and you're like, that was awesome. Power Rangers was great when I was 6. Like, yeah, and then you go back and play it, and you're like, no, this is not good, like, in any way. Like, I was just stupid. But no, I just think, like, that holds up. Obviously, things like music, I mean, music and movies and stuff like that, I mean, those are hard to, like, I think music was probably the one that's most nostalgic, just because it's not visually jarring. It's music. It's going to sound the same. So, like, you hear music from when you were a kid. Exactly. So I think, like, out of all things, music would probably be the one thing that when people hear music they grew up with, they don't give a shit if it's 5 years old, 35 years old. It's awesome to them. So that's the only thing I think that sticks up the most. Gaming does as well, but also, like you said, like, you were saying earlier too, it's just like, you go back and play certain games and you're just like, ugh, like, oh shit. Like, I just, again, at the time you were losing your mind. At the time it was the best thing in the world, but then you go back, you're like, damn. But I mean, the ones that hold up though are the ones that will flood your head with memories of awesome stuff. So that's the one thing that's good. Yeah,
no, I agree. And gaming, like I feel like we as gamers, we romanticize it a lot, and where we shouldn't romanticize it more than we should be technical of why this game, like, why is Castlevania and Metroid so important to games?
Right.
It's a really fun game and you have a lot of good memories with it, but there's a technical aspect that makes that game unlike any other. That's why that's so important.
Right.
Games like Metal Gear. I don't like Metal Gear personally. Not a Metal Gear.
All right,
guy.
I'm ending the podcast. It was nice having you on here. I'm just fine. Go ahead.
See, but I understand its importance.
Right.
And like, though I don't understand Kojima's head.
No one does.
I'm not like, no one does.
No one does.
I don't even think he does.
Nope.
It's just like weird, demented stuff, and then the La La Land soundtrack.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they did. That's all they have to do. Like, oh my god.
But like, I understand why those games are like important. So like, I respect GoldenEye, though I know I can't go back from it. I know what it did for the console shooter genre.
Right.
It said it could happen.
Right.
So
And that's like that, like you just said, like the nostalgia of certain games changing the landscape of gaming going forward. Like that's where those types of games, it doesn't matter. Like you can go back and play Symphony of the Night and be like, this helped define a new generation of games that are still awesome today. Mm-hmm. Here's why you should play it. So that's where like the nostalgia factor of it, it's just like building blocks. And yeah, that's where, like if you want to see that type of game and how it's progressed, like it's good to start with, Super Metroid, Castlevania, Symphony of the Night. And then you're like, here's some other cool games that are like that, but like these are what started that whole thing. So, and same thing with GoldenEye. GoldenEye helped get people into shooters on consoles when it wasn't as relevant then. Obviously, like people will say, it depends on who you talk to, but people will either say it was GoldenEye and Perfect Dark or it was Halo. Cause like those games are what then all of a sudden shooters were just all over the console because they figured it out. Like control wise, they figured it out. They figured out everything they needed to make those types of games work. So, and of course, I'm a console kid. I didn't play many PC games, but then people will say, Counter-Strike is what, Counter-Strike and Unreal and Quake and, there's all these other games that came out either before or around that time. Yeah. So, I mean, everybody's going to say that they have their own shooter or their own game that defined that particular genre for them. And again, that sucks too, because I feel like I missed out on some cool PC stuff. Did you mostly stick with consoles then, or did you ever go on PC or anything?
98% of the time, I'm a console kid. There's only one game when I was a kid, couple games. When I was like a kid, Age of Empires.
Yep. That's
Age of Empires. You should have seen me at E3. I almost cried. Because I'm like, this PC game show, I have to sit through it, and then all of a sudden, Age of Empires, and I freaked out. There's a stream of it somewhere of me freaking out for this game. Because it's the reason why I love history and I love politics is that game.
That's awesome.
Like, I'm thankful for it. So that Age of Mythology, those were when I was less than 13 years old. There's one game in particular when I'm like in 7th or 8th grade. That is the big influence. That is a genre or a series that is my ultimate love. And that's Warcraft.
That's good stuff.
I love Warcraft. Been addicted to World of Warcraft. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's a trap. Don't do it.
It really is. It will suck up all your life. And that's what it did with my high school years. But Warcraft was a series that I could sit you down and I could tell you why that Warcraft movie was horrible and what they could have done to fix it.
But you got to tell Hollywood that, and Hollywood doesn't want to hear gamers.
Listen to me. I would be like, you just hand me a script. You hand me that directing chair. Joseph's got this. I really do.
I got
this. Yeah, but those are the only two. Other than that, I was always exclusively console.
Okay, so then you went from so you went N64 and everything. Did you continue down that road with Nintendo going forward, or did you eventually? Because obviously you have a PlayStation podcast, so I didn't know where that started.
Oh man, you had to go further into the future.
Oh wow,
which is strange. I know. I wasn't a PlayStation gamer for a very long time. Actually, towards the end of the PlayStation 3 life cycle, I wasn't even a PlayStation gamer. So, I was an Xbox kid for a very long time. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm cool with that.
Nothing, especially the OG Xbox.
Right.
There was so many great games, but one in particular we talked about earlier, Halo.
Of course.
And so when we got the GameCube, we were like, yeah, this is cool, but I'm a man now. I'm 14 years old.
I'm a man, damn it. I need a man console.
Toys R Us is for kids. I don't want to wait in line at a Toys R Us anymore. So we were done with Nintendo. And at that point, until this beautiful little console called the Switch, I will say goodbye to Nintendo.
Right.
And go strictly Microsoft. Halo was huge for us as well. It's one of the last games that I will be playing with my brother as co-pilot. And I will rein him in as making him... making him pay.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say, because if you were 14 then, I'm sure he was, like, getting to the point where he was getting either too old to have time to play games anymore, or just moving on to other parts of his life to where gaming wasn't as big of a focus for him anymore.
Yeah. He moved away from games and he went to tech. And so, like, I remember when he was in community college with his friends. They're all playing Counter-Strike. This is the most pivotal point. This is when he realized he can no longer do this.
Okay.
He brings me into this computer lab with all of his friends. He goes, Joe, we're playing this game called Counter-Strike. Now, I've known Valve. I've seen Half-Life. I've seen my brother play it because as a kid, the head crab scared the crap out of me. So I'm like, I know this game. This is like a mod from Half-Life. Okay, fine, I'll play it. He goes, Joe, don't get like mad like you do when you lose.
Right.
You know, my friends and I were pretty good. But my friends here, like my one friend, he's really good. All right, so don't feel ashamed. And
I like how he warned you ahead of time. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's okay.
He said, don't worry about it. He said, just don't embarrass me. But I embarrassed him in the other way of I made him and all of his friends what I like to coin the term, my little girlfriends.
Oh, no.
Because I demasculated all of them.
That's awful.
This is a kid playing a game for the first time and just owning everyone. It was just like a beautiful mind moment where I saw, or like Neo at the end of Matrix 3. I just see numbers. I'm just seeing numbers. And I'm owning all of them. And then he's like, at one point my brother turns to say, Joe, have you played this game ever? I'm like, no, this is the first time.
I did his friend throw a fit? Like, was his friend the type of... Okay, that's good. I was going to say, his friend would get all pissed off that, like, he's losing.
They were too busy being dumbfounded.
That's great. I also think it's funny because you get to a point where it's weird because a certain age... And it's weird saying this now because obviously, like, I have 4 kids. Like, I'm to that point where I'm their dad. I'm like the older person, and then, you know, like as you get older, it's one of those weird things like in esports, like if you're 30 playing esports, you're old as shit. Like you're a veteran. Yeah. It's like,
yeah,
fuck you, I'm 30. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm 30 years old.
You don't walk on stage to give you a wheelchair.
Yeah. They're like, sir, we have a cane over there for you in case we have some arthritis medicine for you. Like, go fuck yourself. I'm 30 years old. So, like, you get to a point, though, when you're a certain age and you're just like, you could pick up any game and you're good. Which, for the most part, I'm still good at games. Am I pro? No. Like, but I'm happy to see that. I think my son's starting to get to that age because he's 12. He plays a lot of Titanfall 2, and of course he's a 12-year-old, so he wants to share all of his awesome game clips. And there's been a couple of them that I've seen, and I'm like, oh shit, kid, that was like really good. Like,
that's terrifying.
Like, that was real good. Like, there was one, a guy ejected out of his Titan, and he was playing as a sniper, which I'm like, who plays as a sniper in Titanfall 2? Like, that's like the last class you choose. He literally did the quickest turn, sniped this dude in the face, headshot, and then just went back to what he was doing. And I was like, yo, like, I liked it. And I immediately was like, Alex, get out here. I'm like, I showed him on my TV. I'm like, yeah, that was good stuff. It was like such a proud dad moment.
Daddy's proud.
Yeah. I was like, you did something that made me just go, yo, holy shit, kid. Like, good for you. But yeah, like, it's funny because kids get to that age where, and of course we were all that age where you could throw any game in front of us and go, here's your buttons. And then we just make it work. And then some people were dumbfounded or some people were super pissed. Like, I'm very glad that your brother's friend wasn't like the opposite. Like, fuck that kid, man. Whatever, man. I'm still good. Like, at least he wasn't like that, which is good.
See, I hate those type of gamers. I was like watching a stream of one of my friends, and he's perfect. He's fantastic. But like one of the people he's playing with, he was just like, I know this game, and like he would just get annihilated. He's like, man, the reticle is like, what? I shot you 8 times. I'm like, you obviously didn't. This is not the game's fault. If you did, he'd be dead and you'd be alive right now.
Right.
Like, nobody's lagging. Just stop playing the game.
I wish I could hear somebody use the excuse lag playing local co-op, because I would fucking pee myself laughing. That would be the best. There's lag, man. I'm like, we're playing on the same console. There's no lag. There's no internet.
No.
That'd be awesome.
I remember my first Nerd Rage, though, vividly.
Okay.
Vividly, my first Nerd Rage was on the original Xbox.
Okay.
Halo 1. My brother and my one friend Ruben, they were teaming up on me. And it was a point where one of them had a sniper, one of them had the pistol, because you know how broken that fucking gun was.
Oh, yeah.
And they would just say, every time they kill me, I got tone. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. Apparently it's something from the Air Force.
Sure.
And they'd say it all the time for 30 minutes straight. And I was like, shut up. Like, in the beginning, I just muttered, shut up.
Right.
Shut up. Every time they kill me, shut up. Shut up. And at one point, I'm like, I hit the TV. My shitty little CVS 10-inch TV, and I did a huge crack to the front of it. And I'm just like, oh shit. My friends started cracking up. My brother, he's just like, Dad sees that.
Yeah.
He's gonna kick your ass.
Was it your TV though? Like in your room?
It was mine.
Okay,
it was
cool.
mine.
As long as it was yours, because like.
But my dad doesn't care.
Oh yeah, he's just like, what the hell, kid? Like, figure it out. Why are you so mad? Figure that shit out.
I paid $50 for that TV, and the funniest thing is, I lived in fear I had that TV for 2 more years.
Okay.
I lived in fear for 2 years.
What? That just
he
like
didn't see it.
Oh, he didn't see it. Okay.
And I'm like, there's one day he will, though. And I'm like, and maybe that was the birth of my irrational, anxiety. But I remember when he was getting me a new TV. This again, it was like a shitty Samsung from Costco, and he's just like, he looks at this old shitty TV. He's like, Joe, you put a fucking crack in this TV? How did this happen? I'm just like, and then I'm like, at this point, I look at him, I'm like, oh shit. Oh man.
He found out.
And I just went, yeah, Dad, that was like 2 years ago. And he's just like, 2 years ago? All right.
Yeah, it's like, you get to a point where if it happened so long ago, you want to get mad, but then you're like, I should have seen this 2 years ago. What
exactly.
And then you kind of can't get mad. Yeah, there's always funny stories like that where you try to hide something, or hopefully they don't see it, but then when they do, my favorite is when somebody gets caught in my house. You know, when I was a kid, it was just like, if I did something, match, like you just hear that from the other room. I'm like, oh shit, what did they find that I did now? And then I go out there and I did this 6 months ago or something, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that happened. And they're just like, again, it depended. Then as soon as you tell them, oh, that happened like whatever, a long time ago, then they're like, I should have been more observant. I should have seen this. Like, this is something that shouldn't be the case. But
see, they don't yell. My mom, when I'm about to get like bitched at real good, she'll ask a question. She'll be, Joe, I'm wondering something here. And I'm like, and I walk in, she's like, so, did I raise a fucking idiot? I'm like, what? Like, what did I do, Ma?
That's the best thing. I almost want to take that. I almost want to steal that line. Did I raise a fucking idiot? What is this?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. But that was my first Nerd Rage.
That's
classic
good stuff.
Classic Halo. But my peak performance, like other than Halo and Brute Force, on the Xbox.
That gem, brute force.
You know, that's a game where, like, nostalgia. Yeah, it was a great game.
Dude, that game is trash. It sucks, man. Like, it's not good.
I got it at GameStop for like $5.
That's how much it's worth. Like,
and even playing it with my friends, I'm like, this game isn't good.
But it's all you got.
It's fun.
Yeah. Like, you have to deal with what you got. You know what I mean? Like, that's always it sucks if you get a game that sucks and you're just like, I don't get to just go buy another one. I got to ride this shit out until some birthday or Christmas happens.
It's the same feeling you get when you're heating up a Hot Pocket. It's like, there's no way. This is definitely cancerous.
There's something in here that's going to give me some awful cancer in 20 years that we'll all find out about.
Exactly. And it'd be like Hot Pocket-itis. And I'm like, there's no coming back from Hot Pocket-itis.
I'd be real sad if that was a WebMD article 10 years from now. Like, that would bum me out. Like, you just start putting in all this stuff and, like, a question pops up. You ever eat Hot Pockets in the last 20 years? You're like, oh, no. What is that?
This class action lawsuit. Like...
Yeah, it just has that letter that gets sent out like, you don't need proof you bought Hot Pockets. Just send us a letter back and you'll get some part of a settlement.
Just send us that one stand-up part of Jim Gaffigan and you're good.
If you remember this, you get money because that's how bad this was. Hot Pockets caused 9 forms of cancer. Oh, my God. So then you went Xbox route,
yes.
And then did you just keep going to 360 then? And then obviously in that time frame you were saying you got a PS3, so what was that route like?
The backtrack, I owned a PlayStation 2. Okay. I got it for my birthday, and I was just like, huh. And my brother's like, you're not excited? Like, remember PlayStation 2s are so hard to find. I was like, what? No, I'm excited. It's not an Xbox, but yeah, no. Like I played Ratchet, I played Kingdom Hearts, I played Jack 3.
Right.
It's the closest equivalent to GTA.
Yeah, because that's absolutely.
I'm just like, I'm like, are there hookers in this game I want to like run over? But like,
not Jack.
I'll take a floating car or whatever.
Sure.
But I wasn't big into PlayStation. I hated the controller. It's the worst thing in the world. And so Xbox 360 happens. I couldn't be more of a fanboy. I'd be one of those guys telling you the Switch is going to fail in a year and then Nintendo's going to go under. I would be one of those guys.
Right.
And I remember, first off, Call of Duty 2. I'll tell you how I got the Xbox 360 because it's the best story ever.
Gotcha.
I say it on all the podcasts I'm on. I say it anytime I get a chance.
All right.
Back in middle school, it was so hard to get. My mom, like, we pre-ordered it from GameStop. And what does GameStop do? It pulls a Walmart and says, oh, wait, we can't honor these pre-orders.
Exactly.
Sorry for that Super Nintendo Classic.
Right.
And, you know, my mom's like, she goes to me during Christmas. She's like, I'm going to be honest with you, Joseph. A, Santa isn't real. Grow the fuck up. B, should have learned this like 4 years ago now.
Stupid. You should know this. Why are you just now knowing this? But go ahead.
Joseph, come down here.
Did I raise a fucking idiot?
Question.
And you don't know Santa's not real. All right, go ahead.
So, she goes, I didn't get you the 360, but, you know, for Christmas, but know that you will get it. Yeah. And so, like, during Christmas, I got no Christmas gift, but a promise.
Oh, you got an IOU as a Christmas gift.
But it was what I would realize is, and I was okay. Like, I was a good kid.
Sure.
Like,
you weren't one of those shitty kids that were like, but I want it now. Like, yeah, I get it. No, absolutely. No, that's good.
I was never like maybe 1 or 2 times, but then like I'd get threatened with like orbital destruction and I'd back away. So she's like, I'm not going to hit you, but I will. And I'm like okay. No, my mom wasn't like that. My mom is so chill. This proves it. So in middle school, I'm in gym, and of course not doing like activities because I'm fat, but, I all of a sudden hear on an intercom, and this is like once we got back from break too, like a week after or something. Joseph, report to The Office, you're going home. And I'm like, immediate thought, my grandma's dead.
Right. Like that's never a good sign when that happens.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, 10 years later, it would be my grandpa, not my grandma.
Oh my God.
But I think of grandma because you don't have a Puerto Rican grandma, I assume.
Right.
My grandma's been telling me she's going to die since I was 8. So
they just assume. They just think,
like,
I'm going to die tomorrow.
Yeah, she just holds my face. She's like, remember this, because I wasn't there. And I'm like, all right, thanks, Grandma. I'm going to have to deal with mortality for 10 years.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, okay, it's my grandma. Damn it. All right. So I walk into the office and my mom's there and she's nervous. And I'm like, Mom, what's wrong with Grandma? My mom's like, what? What's wrong with Grandma?
Just the assumption. Yeah. Like, what happened? Like, so angry.
And so like we walk out. She's like, I'll tell you outside. We're walking outside and she's like, you know that Xbox you wanted? I was like, yeah, Mom, but like, what happened to Grandma? I don't care about this. Is Grandma okay? She's like, no, Grandma's fine. I got you the Xbox. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Wait, you're taking me out of school? And she's just like, should I? Like, she got that second thought. I'm like, no, let's keep going.
Yeah. Like, no, please do. We're already in the car. We're this far in. We gotta go. We gotta get that fuck out of here.
My mom she got me, I think, was it Elder Scrolls? No, because that comes out later. Perfect Dark, Call of Duty, and something else. I forget. And she called me out of school for it. So I'm sitting and I'm playing. It's like lunchtime. And I'm in the part where I'm in Russia. I'm going through the pipes, like I'm sneaking around. And my mom's like, now at the time, Subway was decent. I just have to put that out there. My one thing I loved was either their meatball subs or the rib subs that they had. Okay. And my mom's like, you want a meatball sub from Subway? And I'm like, is this real? Like,
hashtag greatest day ever.
Yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody's playing in the background. I'm like, is this real life?
Yeah.
And my mom's like, I'll get you one. And she's like, you want a Mountain Dew? And I'm like, yeah.
Are we going to win $1 million today? This is the best day of my life.
Yeah, I felt like a prisoner of war, and they're treating me nice for information, you know? And like, I'm like, yeah, like, do you want the football codes? I don't know. So, but like, that was the best, because it was just like playing it all day, no breaks, and like, I beat Call of Duty in 2 days.
Yeah.
It was sickening.
Again, like, you were super excited and you just blasted through it as fast as you could, so.
It was a magical moment.
That's awesome.
And I had Xbox Live too, so I was playing Call of Duty 2 online nonstop. That console, the first half, real good memories.
Right.
Like, Gears of War 1.
So
I had, again, why I have the best mother in the world. Like, people could say they have a great mom. I know I have the best mom. I had a hernia surgery, and when I woke up, the first thing I see is the special edition Gears of War 1 case. And she's like, when you're home, you get to play this. And I'm like, can we leave now?
Can I heal so fast? Pretending you were Wolverine, just staring at it, just like, hurry up, I gotta get home.
And that game was the first multiplayer game I think I could have went pro and retired. It's really good.
Yeah, it was really good. That was the only game I would say too that later on, like, Gears 1 was fun, but like, I remember I had a stable, because at the time, I started working at Best Buy around Gears 2, Gears 3 time and everything, and I just remember having that crew of Gears players, and I just remembered, like, we're really good. Like, just collectively, we were really good. Separate, all together, real good. And yeah, I mean, I remember one of the guys that was on my team, like, we had a tournament at Best Buy for Gears 3. If you won, you got a copy of Gears 3 free. And he was like second. Like, he was doing some next level cool shit. And I was just like, dude, I remember we're so good at this game. We need to just keep doing this. But we never got to a point where we were going to do tournaments or whatever. That would have been way too fun, though.
let me tell you something. Gears 3 happened. I was working at GameStop at the time, and I have a Lancer. It's right over there.
Oh shit!
Like a replica one. Like
yeah.
I'm big into Gears. I love Gears, and it's so great. Gears 4 is my favorite Gears story wise.
Absolutely.
And I remember like people loved me because I was walking out with it, and they're just like, "This guy fucks. This guy right here." Everybody loved me. Like, we were doing tournaments, and like, I wanted everything we were giving away, and my boss was like, "Stop it, Joe."
That always sucked, man. That always sucked working those things. Like, I worked at Best Buy and I worked at Game Crazy when we did midnight launches, and they'd have all this cool swag and shit. And unless you had some super cool boss that was working with you, like when I worked at Game Crazy, my brother-in-law was my boss. So we always it was me, him, and my best friend at the time, Mike, who's been on the show before. Us three running the store. And I was like, well, of course, we fucking took every piece of swag first and was like, oh yeah, everybody else gets these leftovers. Of course, Best Buy was more corporate with it, and they were just like, no, we have to give it to and then if there's any left over, you guys get it. And of course,
so you just steal it.
Yeah, you just steal it. You just say, fuck this, and you just put it in your pocket, and just hopefully no one sees you carrying out some...
What are they going to fire me for, a lanyard?
Exactly.
GameStop will eventually fire me for way less than that.
Exactly.
But I remember with Gears 3, again, this is how the beginning stages of knowing that I didn't have a future at GameStop was we had a tournament at the flagship GameStop in my area.
Okay.
Like, it literally has a tournament
like
stage, arena,
right.
Yeah. And they were running it, and this, like, of course, the district manager, God, I wish I could say his name. But him and my manager, of course, they get to play the game because they didn't have enough players. This one kid needed my help. She said, "Can you play with me, sir?" And I'm like, he doesn't, I'm his partner.
Right.
Okay. And I remember just going after my boss and the district manager and immediately talking shit. Like, that's me in video games as it is.
Right.
I'm happy I can't talk to players in Splatoon because I would be just teaching kids.
Real quick, not because you can't, because Nintendo makes it damn near impossible to do it, but go ahead.
And I'm thankful for it. I really am. So, I'm like, "Where's my raise, Tony?" And I'm like, while I'm
Jeez.
Whatever, yeah. "Where's my raise, Tony?" And I'm like, just chainsawing him nonstop. And chainsawing in Gears of War is the ultimate disrespect.
Super disrespectful.
Because it's like, this is how bad you are.
I got so close to you, and you couldn't shoot me, and I just chainsawed you. So, yeah, no, I completely get that.
Do I like it? Yes, I do. Yeah. So I was just like, yeah, no, I was embarrassing him in front of like his boss too. So I was just like, I didn't care at the time because I just hated him.
Right.
But I'm like, yeah, no, this is why I was on his shit list. I embarrassed him.
Yeah. And then they could always swing that back around. It's like, yeah, if there was a reasoning, well, remember when you were, you were being very rude and saying rude things, like they could always swing that back on you and everything. So. And
so I remember getting that kid to like stage 2, but I was just like, I couldn't hold his hand for much longer.
Right.
And so I remember defeating him. I remember giving it my best. And then I was like, it was just not enough. But yeah, Gears is my all-time favorite.
Right.
Microsoft game.
Right.
Of all time, even more than Halo.
Right.
Because the recent Halos, let's be honest with each other here.
Yo, if you're about to talk shit about Halo 5 story, go right ahead. If you're about to talk shit about Halo 5's multiplayer, you shut your mouth.
No,
Halo 5's multiplayer was like, I played it a lot, like more than I thought I would. But no, Halo 5 story was hot trash. It was real. It was just it wasn't good. I played it and I'm like, okay, Okay.
Where do I get Chief?
What are we doing with this guy that no one likes? Like, no one likes this dude.
No one likes future Luke Cage.
No one.
Nobody
Exactly.
likes him.
No one liked it. And, but no, the multiplayer in 5, it literally, I played that more and I enjoyed that more than I did Halo 2 and Halo 3 multiplayer just because it was just so many weird, and then they kept adding shit for free. They added Warzone and like Firefight and like just all this shit, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm getting a lot of fun out of this. Like, I actually have every single thing unlocked, like all the rec cards, like all of them, because I played it a ridiculous amount of time. But no, I mean, I'm a big Gears fan as well. Like, I have, you can't see it, but I have the Marcus Phoenix, JD Phoenix statues right there for the limited editions. I have a Gears 3 poster thing above my window here. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a big Gears fan as well. But, yeah, I mean, you know, again, good memories. Can't shit on memories like that. So
yeah, no, you can't. And Gears, it's like you bring your friends in, and that's where the game really takes off. Mm-hmm. Like Gears 3, we had a whole crew, and we like afterwards we'd go out to like 7-Eleven or somewhere and just BS,
right,
and smoke jazz cigarettes,
and talk
about the war. Yeah, so like, you know, it's just, those are good times.
Absolutely.
As where the 360 loses me. I went through 9 of them.
Oh my God.
Between me and my brother.
That's a lot.
One time, we got back a console from the Red Ring. It had a red ring.
Oh my God. I think Microsoft had to just lose track of how many systems were coming in and out. I'm almost positive they probably received a box, thought that was fixed, slapped a label on it, and shipped it back to somebody else. Like, that was a big. I probably went through like 3 or 4.
And I didn't want to get a PlayStation 3 because none of my friends had it.
Right, exactly.
Freaking hate the controller.
Right.
I hear the online sucks, which it does.
Real bad, yeah. Especially on PS3.
Yeah.
PS3 was atrocious. It was real bad.
I mean, like, PlayStation 4's online, I'll be honest, I know it's not as good as Xbox Live.
Correct.
But it is, wow.
It's leaps and bounds better, like, because they gave a shit about it when they made their new console. Like, it was, like, I don't remember if you remember the original PlayStation Store on the PS3. Like, I don't know if you ever saw it or not. Yeah. It was a web browser. Like, it was basically just a web browser to like a mobile looking version of their site, and it was hot trash. But no, eventually Sony got their shit together. Is it as good as Xbox Live? No. Like, Xbox Live still, in my opinion, is better. Obviously people are going to have their own opinions, but like, it's almost like
closing the gap. It's just not there yet.
Well, because Microsoft had such a bigger start doing it, and they knew how to make their shit better from a earlier stage. Like, that's why, you know, it's funny because like PlayStation 4, people were like, "Oh my God, we have party chats. That's awesome." I'm like, like, we've had that for a while. I'm just saying, like, you know, even like private chat, like, back in the day when they didn't have party chat on Xbox, they had private chat. You and one other person could talk no matter what you're doing. And I'm like in my head, just like, oh my God, that's amazing. And then they were like, by the way, we're upgrading this. You could do 8 players. And I'm like, holy shit, this is crazy. And then Sony's like, I remember I used to play Killzone 3 when that came out because it was a decent game, but like, obviously I had a PlayStation 3 and I was like, I gotta play something. But voice chat sucked. It just wasn't good. So then all my buddies would turn on our 360s, get into a party, and then switch input on the TV, go play Killzone 3. Man. That's like we had to do it. It was like, this is what we have to do, because like the PS3 chat is just hot trash. It's just not good. But eventually Sony got it good and everything. So now, do you have both consoles? Do you have Xbox One, PS4? Like,
so,
and obviously
I'm at the point. Yeah, I'm at the point where I have the Halo Reach console.
Cool.
I love that console so much.
Right.
My brother worked at Micro Center for a while.
Okay.
And we had a warranty for an arcade Xbox 360 that red ringed a long time ago. We were sharing systems out of this.
Right.
And he brought it to his boss. He's like, can we get can we exchange it?
Right.
For a Slim? And the boss is like, fine, you do have the warranty or whatever. And then my brother turns to him, he's like, my brother's a huge Halo fan. We're going to have these consoles. We're not going to be able to sell them all.
Right.
You would make his day if you gave him the Halo Reach console.
Right.
And he did.
That's awesome.
So out of an arcade shitty
OG,
Xbox 360,
the OG one, right. You got the Slim Reach one.
Like 250 gigs, and you think, I'm like, I'm never going to fill this up.
Well, not when games take up 50 gigs each now, but like back when a game was like 8, you're like, this is incredible.
Whoa. So, I that was amazing to me. I was like, whoa. And so when that one died, because it was actually the graphics card that went on it, I had enough. Mm-hmm. And so I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Right.
I'm not giving Microsoft money anymore for giving me a product that is flawed.
Sure.
I've went through too many of these to count. I'm done. And that's when I leave Microsoft and I go solely PlayStation.
Okay.
But how I got a PlayStation 3 was I got it for $80.
Fair enough. Can't shit on that, really.
I was working at GameStop. This is something they should have fired me for.
Did you do the whole give people money for the trade-in instead of going through the system?
Yes, but...
I did too at Game Crazy all day long. It was like encouraged by my brother-in-law. He's like, fuck that. Give that dude $20 cash and take that game. Like, yes, I will.
But this one, if I was with anybody else but this coworker I was with, I would have been reported.
Oh, yeah.
So... this one guy's trading in a PS3, but he has no wires. It doesn't have a controller.
Right.
Best we could do is like $40.
Exactly.
And I'm like, I'll give you 80 for it. I feel bad.
Sure.
And so he's just like, it's fine. I was going to buy weed with it anyway. And then.
At least he's honest. He's an honest man. He tells you what he wants with his money.
So I take it and I clean it. And I'm like, okay, I got this thing for $80. I'll buy a controller. I'll buy this game called Uncharted 2. Because my friend's like, if you're going to play it, that's the game you want to play it on.
Right.
So ironically, I got a PlayStation 3 during the blackout.
Oh, shit. Like PSN outage time. Oh, that sucks.
That was right before it, because I know I was able to get the free games.
Sure.
So, or like I had an account with Sony. Somehow I was able to get Little Big Planet for free. I know that.
Right. Like, I think they pretty much gave that to everybody. They didn't give a shit. Like, they were just trying to make goodwill, like, make sure people don't just leave PlayStation forever.
Yeah. And with that, I played Uncharted 2 for, cause I was working full time at GameStop at the time. Go to college, kids. Don't do what Joseph did and let anxiety control your life until you're 25.
There you go.
I played that game for a month. I beat it, and I was just like, holy shit.
Right.
This is one of the best games I've ever played.
Yeah, Uncharted's really good.
Oh my God. And I'm like, what other games do they got? So I was taking out game after game, and I was just like, this is actually pretty odd. This controller isn't half bad.
Yeah, once you get used to it, right?
Yeah, at least the battery life's insane on it. And I was just playing Uncharted 2, Uncharted 3, The Last of Us happened.
Yeah.
And when The Last of Us happened, that was the nail in the coffin for Microsoft. 'Cause that game is my favorite game of all time.
It's really, really, really good.
It will remain that way because no game, the first 20 minutes, I was having an argument once with my uncle because he's like, video games are for children. And I was like, you got 30 minutes? Of course you do. Here. And I showed him a video because I had to because I was in Spain and 20 minutes and he's just talking shit about it in the beginning, but then he's starting to actually watch it.
Yeah.
And as things get crazier and crazier until the prologue hits, his mouth is just like,
yeah, that.
And he just turned to me, it was silent for good 10 seconds. He turns, he goes, "You play that for fun?"
Yeah,
and I'm like,
why do you put yourself through that? Well, then again, people watch sad movies all the time and everything too. You know what I mean?
I'm like, and I'm like, the answer is I don't do it for fun.
Well, right. It's not
You
like
know?
you play it and you're like, yay, I want to see that happen, because it's not like anyone wants to see that happen. But yeah, it's really funny because that's especially the beginning of that game. And there's other games that are similar, like some endings get to the point or some things happen in games that are really sad, but like that hits you right in the face. Like 30 minutes in, like ready to get real sad and depressed real quick. Boom. Enjoy this. Yeah. Obviously, I won't say what happens in case people haven't played it, but if you haven't, what the hell are you doing? Go do that. That's a great game.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like Halo 4 is another good one.
At the end, yeah.
Oh,
God. It's sad. It's real sad.
Cortana.
You know what else made me sad? Playing all of Halo 5 story. Because it was
And then at the end.
Yeah,
and then
at
I'm
the end.
like, this is a character turn out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, thank God I won't see a bad character arc like this ever again. Wait till season 5 of House of Cards. And then
like, it always happens though. There's always shit like that happens,
Yeah.
but yeah.
Yeah.
So then you basically went PS4 and eventually you got an Xbox One, because obviously you're talking Gears 4 eventually.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I can understand the frustration with the Microsoft. I had a couple consoles replaced, not to the point where, but also like it was in the same boat with you though, where it was like all of my friends who played online games were Xbox, and that was even the case when Xbox One came out, because all of us were still like, no, I don't care about Xbox and like how they're saying shit that a lot of people don't agree with. Like, I know my games are here. I know my friends are here. We're going to play online here. I can only play Gears here. So that's why I went that route. Eventually I got a PS4. Don't regret it at all. Good system. I am kind of in the camp though where I primarily game on Xbox. I have the PS4 for the exclusives like Last of Us, Uncharted, Horizon, which so far Horizon's my favorite game this year. And I played and beat Zelda, and Zelda's great, but Horizon's like, it's just the expectations. Like, everybody knew Zelda was going to be awesome.
yeah.
Like, anyone who thought Zelda wasn't going to be awesome is ridiculous, and they're lying to themselves. Like, everybody knew that was going to be good. But Horizon was just that game that people were like, this looks okay. And then they play it, and they're like, wow. Like, that's the only reason why I think that would be my game of the year this year so far. But, yeah, I mean, but, like, you know, I play Xbox mostly. But, no, I mean, I'm glad that at least now that you're older and you're not just like, fuck Microsoft, fuck Sony,
Well,
blah, blah, blah. Like, can't be
in
a
the
fanboy.
beginning, that's like when PlayStation 4 is coming, I was like, I'll probably get an Xbox One anyway, whatever.
Right.
You know? Like, I'm just that type of abused girlfriend, like,
I'll come back.
Like, he's gonna change. Like, he's gonna learn, right? And then it's like DRM, and he's like, he's gonna get better. He's gonna change. He's like, sports, entertainment, TV. And I'm like, no, honey, he's not good for you.
Yeah,
and so, you know, I went to the PlayStation 4, and I was one of those people where like, let's set Microsoft on fire. Like, let's do something about it. Yeah, no, I even like thinking back on it, I'm like, Microsoft, you're so stupid. It's dumb. What a dumb thing to do. There were so many better ways of approaching this situation, but you were just like, let's do it.
Right.
But like, after 2014 though, I calmed down because Phil Spencer was the guy that really changed that for me.
He's a good man. Seeing
his direction, seeing how honest he is, like, you know, that's the great thing about him. I love like it's not like, I know he's trying to sell me something.
Sure.
But he's not doing a good job. You know what I mean? Like, he's that honest salesman. Right. The honest salesman is the good guy. He gets to come home with the conscience, maybe not with like the shark out there that has the most sales. He gets to go home saying, you know what? At least I sold the customer on what I'm about. And so that's what Phil Spencer is to me.
Right.
And I love his direction. And I feel like everybody's expecting so much from Microsoft, and they ignore the great things that they've been doing to fix their reputation, that, you know, like they just overlook Game Pass, they overlook digital returns, you know, they overlook all these great things that they're doing, and they're just like, well, why isn't Scalebound out, you know?
Right, and that's like that. I mean, the thing is though, is that it's the same thing though. It was the other way around though. Like when 360 was on top, they were just talking sales numbers and how awesome they are. I just don't think now. Yes, they're losing. and Phil Spencer even says that he's like, I don't even know if I'll ever catch Sony. But the thing is that I don't think and the good thing is like you get to a certain point where you don't care. You're just like, whatever, this is what we're going to do. And if you guys like it, cool. And like even when the Xbox One was announced, he's like, I don't expect to outsell 1S's. Like our 1S is still going to be our number one selling console. And I get that. This is just for these people. And I just like how, like you said, he's honest with it. He's just like, I don't, do what you want to do. I don't care. But also too, I like it because Microsoft's in a situation where they're not going anywhere. Sony, like the only thing that's super profitable for Sony is PlayStation. And like, if they fuck that up, Sony as a company could be in trouble. Whereas Microsoft's like, last time I checked profits, they were 50 billion. So who fucking cares? Like,
exactly.
We have Skype and Office and Windows. Like, they don't give a shit.
Minecraft.
We have Minecraft. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I just think that they're in a better position to just be like, who gives a shit? Like, we can just do what we want. I don't care if we match Sony. But like, of course, you get your Sony fanboys out there like, fucking Xbox and all you play is Halo and Gears and Forza. What the you fuck? You're like, whatever, man. I don't have time for that. So
no. Every time a system's on top, what I like to say, it's a little vulgar, but every time everybody like when they're the top dog, everybody wants to whip their dick out to show how big it is.
Of course it is. Yeah, they always want
look at this.
Look at this spreadsheet. Look at how many consoles we sold. Look at this PowerPoint slide. Look how shitty they are. Look how much better. But it was the same thing. The last, it was the exact opposite though. Like 360 would talk about how many sales they had and. It was the same thing, but then I think when you get to that point where you are so big, you just start thinking you could do whatever the hell you want, and then eventually one thing will backfire, and you're just like, oh. Like when Microsoft came out with the Xbox One, and they thought this is what people want, and then it was just like, no, we don't want any of that shit. Then Microsoft, like, it was just flip-flop. But now Sony's in the same boat where Microsoft's doing all these cool things, and Sony's just like, well, it doesn't matter if we put out this or do this, like we're still selling systems, so who gives a shit? So that's kind of how
they're reverting back to
old Sony
PlayStation. Old Sony. We're about to release it PlayStation 3 and it's gonna be $600.
Exactly. They didn't give a fuck. They were like, get a second job, and everybody's like, what? You tell me to get a second job? Go fuck yourself. Like
exactly.
That's exactly what happened. It's that third. It's weird, but it's the third console curse. It's like get to that third console, you think your shit's too hot, and you're like, oh man, people will just buy whatever we want. Hey, you guys like sports and NFL and online always, right? And everyone's like,
nope.
No, we don't. But no, that's the same thing. Yeah, PlayStation 3, same thing, $600. And they were like, get a second job. And everybody's like,
I can't believe that was a fucking thing they said.
Dude, Don Matrick, though, said if you want a system that doesn't require always online, go buy a 360. Like, what the fuck are you saying, dude? Like,
Don Matrick
your ass.
Yeah, Don Matrick is a person I've never thought too much ill will of a human being. Not that much, other than like, I hate Don Matrick so much that when he left, I was unhappy because I wanted Microsoft to talk shit about how much of an asshole Don Matrick was.
But of course they can't.
And not give him a golden parachute.
Yeah, they can't. They have to be political, and they have to be PC, and they have to be
nice. Because I'm like, this guy fucked everything.
Of course, like, internally, I'm sure there's meeting rooms that happen where they're just like, aren't we glad that asshole's gone, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So let's get the guy with the blazer and the shirts in.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
So then, as far as it goes now, like, obviously you have a PlayStation podcast, and what we'll do is let's go ahead and promote the hell out of your stuff now.
Yes.
Go ahead. The floor is yours. Go right ahead.
So, I run a YouTube channel called Polygames, and there we talk about everything, right? Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, and I give you my honest thoughts. Sometimes I'll speak highly of PlayStation. Sometimes I will tell how it is. Same with Xbox, same with Nintendo. I run a PlayStation podcast, which I'm recording later tonight, called The PlayStation Podcast, a podcast made by the players for the players. Check that out on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, which I've tried to use Google Play. I have no idea how that works. I'm an iOS user. And yeah, also check me on My Xbox and Me, where I co-host alongside my great host, Corey, Mr. MC Fixer. Terrific podcast. My Xbox and Me is great because I'm a co-host, so I don't have to worry about it. Every week, I just come in and I have like an amazing conversation. So go check all those things out. I'm going to start making videos again because I got over my bronchitis.
There you go.
Which is amazing. So I'm real happy. I'm real happy.
All right. Well, dude, I thank you so much for being on the show. I will have links in the podcast description for all of his things if you want to check them out. Again, man, thanks for being on and sharing all your stories.
Yeah, man, thanks for having me. Really, really fantastic.
All right. Thanks, Joe, again, for being on the show. Again, if you guys want to check out any of the stuff he has to offer, there will be links in the podcast description so you can check out his podcast. Again, thank you guys so much for listening each and every week. Hopefully you enjoy the show. Hopefully you have subscribed on iTunes or Google Play, rated it, shared it with a friend. Again, if you want to be on the show, feel free to send me a tweet at GUG Podcast on Twitter or go to the website, gugpodcast.com. Again, thank you guys each week for listening, and I'll catch you guys next week.